a girl tutorial. This time we're going to be looking at her from the side so we can see the sort of shape of the spine and things like the tightness of the core contrasted by some of the sharper muscle groups as compared to our previous anime characters. So I am just going to start off with my construction lines. I'm going to start with a small circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a placeholder. Try to keep my characters to be the same size here though. Then off the front of it, I'm just going to drop in a slightly concave line here for the jaw. This isn't a base tutorial, so we're not really concerned with the quality of our head here. We just want it to be a good placeholder, like so. I'm going to bring the back of the skull out a little bit like that, since the head is a little bit longer from the side than it is looking straight on. It's got a little bit of length to it. Then we're going to put in our spinal line. Notoriously, this is very hard to just get exactly correct on go one, so do not worry about it being perfect, and especially just be ready to change it as we put everything in. So I'm just going to draw a line in here for the neck, pokes out to the shoulder blades, into the middle of the back, the lower back here, this little curve, out following the glutes. So we're going to drop that in. We're going to put on this character, she's got large shoulders because she works out, so we're going to give her some large shoulder circles. Angle our collarbone slightly down. Then we can attach our neck and bring my collarbone back a little bit. And then we can put in the back of the neck to get the overall width that we want. Like that. And this time, off the back here from the shoulders, I'm actually going to bring it up a little like this, since she's got bigger traps. So those are going to be defined. From there, we can put in our ribs, just this kind of flat shape here. Then we will actually need to bring it up a little bit though, so it's a little bit out of the way of our hip line here. And again, since they stand curved like this, the hip line is going to be just behind the peak of that rib cage. So we're going to drop this in, shape like this. Next, I'm just going to faintly trace like this so we can see the sort of just outline of where the tummy needs to be, because she's gonna have abs. So we're just gonna drop those in. I actually need to make them smaller because there's a lowermost ab here, so it's like 3 small ones, a large lower one, which then leads down into the areas down there. So we're just going to put that like that. Next, we are going to throw in a shape like this because she's got large lats, so they're connecting up behind the shoulder like this. And we can see some ribs here. I'm going to draw my legs next. I'm just going to put a line down like so. I'm going to establish where my feet are. Put in vague foot shapes there. Find my halfway point. Put my knee circle in front of the leg bone because your kneecap sits on the leg bones themselves. Then, keeping that sort of rigid, sharper feel in the legs, I'm just going to poke them out like this, followed by relatively thick hamstrings. And I'm going to draw a small V shape like that so you can see the separation between the quads and the hamstrings. Then I'm going to give really defined calves here. bring these out more, like so. Then from here, I'm gonna drop in the glutes. Still keeping our overall rounded shape here, so it's gonna be kind of flat on the top and really tuck at the bottom. So it really wants to tuck and then round out at the top. Something like that. Gonna bring it back a little bit more, because since she's got a lot of muscle built, it's not gonna be quite so rounded. Be slightly flatter looking, but with just a lot of mass there. Put it like that. Next, I'm going to shrink my character down a little bit. She's getting too big. There we go. Next, I'm just going to move the arm out of the way so we can still see the curvature here. Again, you want your hand height to be basically the same height as the shoulder. The hand here. Give her some exaggerated forearms, so she's got a lot of muscle there. Then we're going to add in the bicep and shoulder area. A little bit of tricep poking through. I still, even on my muscular characters, I curve right where the armpit is, like that. That way it kind of will go into where our chest is sitting. So next I'm just adding a line, because our chest has to sit under that line. Add some definition there. This time, to show the little dimple, so the dimple that we have over here, I'm going to show that here by making it a little pocket area like that. And that's sort of separating where some of the glute and leg muscles are. Next, I gave this character a larger chest, so I'm going to stick with that and just give her little teardrop shapes like this. And just give it a look over. I guess my chest is a little bit too big. I'll shrink it slightly. Like so. And there we go. So now, just giving a look over, I think my head is still just a little bit too big, which is why it looks slightly off compared to the other ones. So I'm going to shrink my head here, make sure that my neck is not messed up because of that. Like so. Going to bring up my knee joint slightly. And make sure that this sucks in the way it's supposed to. And there we go. So now we can do the line art. And again, I'm just doing a figure study here, so I'm not too concerned with the quality of my line art. Just making sure I can get these shapes and symmetry right. So I'm going to bring the shoulder into the collarbone, attach my neck to it, add some lines there, add my definition for the traps. The shoulder is going to have a little bit of a point to it right here, because this area here separates the bicep and tricep. So we'll see that a little bit more clearly once I get to that section, which I just want to put my hand in first, because this forearm is going to be in front of all of that, so I just want to get it out of the way. So I'm going to put in my bicep into the curve like that, and then the tricep here in the back, And I give it a little bit of a shape like this, so it kind of needs to tuck in a little like that. So we'll drop those in like so. I'm gonna bring her elbow up a little though. I kind of brought this arm too low. And we'll drop in our back there, the flat part of the chest, followed by her boob. That like that. Add in our lines here. Going to put in the hips into the quads now, giving separation between the quads and hamstrings. Some nice strong calves. Put in my foot placeholder here. Gonna make sure I make that a little bit flatter though. Make it at least look like she's standing. I'm gonna add in my dimples there, my butt. Let's see. Again, just looking for that shape that I like. I do want it to be a little bit larger than that, just because she does have a lot of muscle. So we don't want it too extraordinarily rounded, just because that's usually round because of fat content. But this time around, since it's mostly muscle, it's going to be a little bit flatter, but it's still going to just be large. Next, we'll put in our abs. Like so. Put in some marks here for the obliques and ribs. And there we go. So that concludes our muscle girl tutorial. Hopefully this was helpful for you, drawing your more athletic or muscular characters. And we will look at more body types in the next one. So see you there.